Black Ops 3 is one of the harder zombies to play, as you can go down in a few hits if you don't have Juggernaut. Now imagine playing on a map full of dense mud that traps you. But what if this was played by someone who grew up with a DS and not COD? Kind of. I've played all the Easter eggs of Cold War, played Black Ops 6, and I've dabbled into Black Ops 3. COD on the DS had zombies, but I never touched it. The campaign was way more interesting. However, none of that would have prepared me for the nightmare Origins had.
Breakbacks are attacking the generators. It has me. My ammunition is low.
Will we ever start out with a gun the characters have in the intro? Dempsey literally had a machine gun, and instead I start out with this dinky pistol. Don't even get me started with Takio having a katana. Coming from Cold War, where your hand is held the entire time, I noticed that I didn't have an objective pinged on my HUD. That's cool. Mr. Raffle Waffles has videos on it. Shout out to Mr. Raffle Waffles, by the way. Having played Cold War, I was expecting to have a breeze with Origins, because the steps that I was told sounded simple enough for the staff. I was dead wrong. First of all, there's no armor stand. Go figure. It's a harder zombies game. Also, grinding for points, way different. Gotta be making Joes to make ends meet on Black Ops 3. The only thing that I was liking so far was the double points that spawned in while doing the generator. All the power-ups from BO3 are in Cold War, except for Zombies Blood. In Cold War, there's an extra power-up called Full Power, and it recharges specialist/field upgrade. Carpenter works just like in Cold War, where it repairs barricades, but it can't repair your armor in Black Ops 3 because there's no armor to repair. Max ammo is fundamentally the same, except you need to reload first before you grab it in BO3. When I said Cold War holds your hand, it really does do that, because in Cold War, max ammo gives you all your ammo back, even the one in your mag, unlike Black Ops 3 where it replenishes your backup ammunition, hence why you need to reload. Also, you can get a minigun as a power-up called Death Machine. This doesn't happen in Modern Zombies. Rather, you can buy score streaks in Modern Zombies, and these are extremely powerful for zombies. Hence why me and my friends refer to Cold War as the chiller zombies. Which brings us to the generators. So far, what I was told about the map was that I had to activate them because you can't get the perks that are near them. So there goes more of my points. Yay. Fortunately, zombies spawn in to contest the generator, and you could kill them for extra points. And there's loose change under perk machines like in Cold War. One of the surprising aspects of classic zombies was the difference in perks from Cold War to BO3. In Black Ops 3, the perks are more limited in what they do and seem more simplistic, especially with there being a perk limit, allowing you to only be able to use 4 perks at a time, unlike Cold War, which allows you to get all of them. This made it hard deciding what perks I wanted to use when starting off. The only perk I was unfamiliar with was Widow's Wine, but it was a welcomed addition. While starting off in my first game, the only things I knew was a rough idea on how to build the ice staff and the location on 2 shield parts. Once I finished scrapping all the points I could, I opened up the door near the generator. Now, Cold War maps are pretty cool. The environment of some is pretty neat to look at, but when I opened that door from spawn, I instantly fell in love with the design. The claustrophobic worn down wooden boards that the trenches had, the damp heavy mud your boots pick up when moving around is just perfection. It really invokes the environment World War I soldiers would have seen. The pipe network scattered around the map, the workbenches littered with scattered blueprints and tools. You really get a steampunk-like feel for the map from the music to the generators and the retro futuristic technology dispersed throughout. I think this area's atmosphere really does immerse you into World War I. However, a different version of World War I, almost if it were taking place in a what-if timeline. Now, compared to the maps I'm more familiar with, such as Cold War and most recent Black Ops 6 Zombies, Origins gives off a captivating feel. You feel the map, you feel the story, you feel the inspiration and dedication that was put into the map. You really immerse yourself into it. The modern Zombies maps feels vastly underwhelming and underdeveloped and lacking in originality. I know original, get it? Origins? With not many at all being able to compare to the atmosphere of Origins. The only map that gives off a feel like this would be Citadel. However, that's more related to Draw, a map considered Origins' successor. Anyways, in the trenches, there are 4 things I needed to do. Find a metal sheet, find a blue disc next to some blue irradiated looking rocks with symbols, find a chalk drawing of a shotgun, and turn on another generator. I should probably mention I can't pick my M17 from Cold War. I always start out with a pistol on every map in Black Ops 3. That's fine. I didn't want to use my purple skull splitter anyways. The KRM is my replacement for now. There's only one thing different this map has compared to Cold War maps. A snow round. Now that doesn't sound all that important, but trust me, this single event causes the most headaches for me. The weather in Origins can change, hence the snow round that I mentioned, but that's not the only weather you get. There's like 3 different weather events you get: rainy, clear, and a snow round. The snow round isn't really rare to get, but if you don't get it early on, it can significantly impact your game. The reason you need this holy weather event is it allows you to find ice staff parts hiding under the ground. Through the map, there are different dig spots that, when digged up with the shovel gotten at spawn, allow you to receive different rewards varying in helpfulness, with the best being the ice staff piece gained during the troublesome snow round. And trust me, you want to have that ice staff as early as possible. In Cold War, you can easily breeze through Easter egg steps without wonder weapons, but here in these nightmarish trenches, you need that staff. It is your lifeline. Also, you can't do the Easter egg steps without it. The first step is for you to possess all the staffs in their upgraded forms. Yeah, you need upgraded forms. The things can't be pack-a-punched. Instead, they will have to be upgraded via a separate side quest. You know, now that I think about it, I picked one of the harder Zombies maps to play. There are 4 elemental staffs in Origins: ice, fire, wind, and lightning. This is one of the unique aspects of BO3. Cold War, even with Outbreak, never had a map with 4 wonder weapons, except the Cerberus had different variations and different variants and could not be acquired by another player unless they already had the base wonder weapon. However, the feel of 4 different unique elemental weapons was not gone forever, as eventually the element system wonder weapon returned with Citadel, and like the swords in Citadel, each staff has their own unique building methods. They all require their respective discs and gen. In modern Zombies, often you are left to defend an area for a certain amount of time, or simply get a certain amount of kills. This usually just gets you a certain piece of the wonder weapon. Ultimately, it is still very similar. Find parts and you put them together, except you don't have to manually craft them in modern Zombies. But unlike classic Zombies, in modern iterations of the modes, I felt more underwhelmed by the achievement and progression of the map's wonder weapons. Often I'm left feeling like the wonder is taken from the weapon, with the only weapons giving me a sense of completion and satisfaction, similar to that of completing a staff quest, are the Forsaken and Citadel wonder weapons, as these weapons are intrusively tied to their respective maps, and they deliver a sense of storytelling gameplay without having to tell you directly. These weapon quests have you explore the map and its history. As the map is played, you unravel more and more about it and what it holds. The ice staff, while being the easiest staff to get apart from, you know, the snow round, it's not the only staff you can build early on. Welcome to a masochist's favorite activity, getting stepped on. Now, I'm not a masochist, but I have to get this step done to get the wind staff. As you've already seen, there's a giant Ricky Ricotta robot stomping around the map. The only thing I can think of that is similar to Cold War is the Orda and Firebase attacking generators, or an Outbreak where it free roams. Normally, any person getting stepped on by a 100-ton robot would be instant death, but the masochists find a way. And no, I'm not a masochist. As you can see, I was scared to do this. To prevent getting turned into paste, you want to shoot the yellow circle on the bottom of its foot before it presses down on you. If you look up and you don't see a yellow light, good luck is all I can say. say. Before you ask me, yes, you don't need to be dominated in Cold War. Now, why do I want to get stepped on? I mean, why do you want to get stepped on? Well, if you do this step right, you don't die, but get sent inside the robot and you get a wind staff part. And you need to do that 3 times, by the way. I forgot to mention this, but there are no ether shrouds you can hide or in frenzy guards to save you. Even no toxic growths you spit on the ground. Alright, this is post-editing. Technically there's aether shrouds, I think, like gobblegums. I think there's like a gobblegum that does that. Like I said, I don't really know much about the game, but yeah. Anyways, I've rambled a lot. Once I got my snow round on round 3, by the way, I started to dig for the ice staff. Getting double points on the first dig spot, it's not what I wanted, but hey, I can't complain about free points. While getting rich beyond belief, I got a surprise nuke drop, which this early on a snow round is like the worst thing to happen because the nuke will wipe out all the zombies that are on the map and progress my round with a chance at removing my snow round. Luckily, I'm still on round 3. There's only ever like 2 dig spots in this part, at least for me, but I managed to get a piece of ice staff, getting me closer to my goal, leading me to the most damp part of the map, No Man's Land. Unlike the compact, uncared parts of the trenches, No Man's Land features a more open area to move around, wooden spikes planted in the mud, corpses of predecessing soldiers impaled on the spikes like hung wet laundry clothes, reinforced barbed wire tangled around the wooden stakes, loose cobblestones scattered around the floor, scorched buildings barely standing from the constant tremors from the giant mechanical beasts that rile up the remaining pathways, random craters reshaping the geography. In the sky you hear the thunderous roars of planes and dogfights. The dark sky shines in the bright lights from the gunfire. You are in a spitting image of World War I, however one that happened to have a zombie outbreak, one that is ignored by the surrounding soldiers. You are left alone to your own demise as everyone else focuses on their own survival. And in the heart of this destruction, a giant excavation site encased in strange wooden platforming and these ominous blue glowing stones, similar to the ones we see on the workbenches in the tank station, featuring mystical inscriptions with strange technology. In this devastation, I was looking for 3 things: another ice staff part, shocker, another random metal sheet, a yellow foot, robot foot, I was only able to find the metal piece. With my snow round and my prepared stash of money, I was able to traverse to the desolate remains of the church. This iconic symbol of peace is the only standing building in this wasteland. This holy temple is tainted by one of men's beastly creations resting under its protection. Yet this building's facade crumbles from the back and the roof. A giant hole whispers embers in, quietly burning the benches away. Even a divine building isn't safe from war. I searched for my other ice staff here. Not finding anything besides some grenades, I dispatched the last zombie, taking me to the next round. Having a lucky moment, I had a robot approach me, but failed to shoot the yellow part and I moved away so my run wouldn't end. I should probably stop using a shotgun for this. Having kept my snow round, I desperately searched for any dig spots while making sure not to kill all the zombies. As my search proved effortless, I heard loud thuds in the distance. As I turned, I spotted all 3 robots marching together and dashed to one in the spawn, hoping to get a yellow boot to my face. Unfortunately, none of the lights were on and I decided to shoot the leg to practice. Also, I decided to get a gobblegum. I don't know why, but I chose to right now. Opening up all the doors to the inside of the church, I was met with an oddly smaller area to walk around. Compared to the chaotic, misfigured land of No Man's Land behind the church was the usual burning wreckage, yet there was more foliage. It was almost as if the church was hopelessly protecting this final semblance of life. Tree roots protruded, holding on to the remaining newly sculptured dirt hills. Trees stood injured, quietly bathed by a mixture of ash and gunpowder fogging the already depressed sky. In the distance, the most alien sight of them all, what looked like a forest of dark pine trees, watched the tragedy unfolding with colorful sorrow. Finding my second part of the ice staff here put me one step closer to building this wonder weapon. At the start of round 5, I lost my snow round, which is just great. But I also heard a strange little girl's voice. Her voice, while sounding agitated, was the only humane thing in this chaos and meant something else was going on. As I gathered more points, I spotted a stairway heading downstairs, but couldn't explore in fear of getting swarmed underground. Reaching round 5 without the ice staff in my hand, I returned to the spawn room for a refill on my KRM and to get quick revive in case I got stupid, which literally happened the second after I bought quick revive. Like I said, this game isn't like Cold War. Oh look, a death machine gun, goated power up, and an insta kill right after, sick. Plus a nuke, even better. On round 7, the little girl called me, and I know that sounds weird, but it's in a video game. Basically, she pleaded for help to open some gateway and mentioned her father being close. In addition to her cry of help, she gave me vague instructions on how to open said gateway. Moreover, I stocked up on another gobble gun. Noticing my lack of ammunition for the pistol, I rushed over to the excavation site and bought the MP40 off the wall. Round 8, the dreaded round 8. After retreating to the generator no man's land, I readied myself for the Panzer to fly in. Apart from the average World War I undead soldier, there's another creature in their ranks covered in a metal exosuit equipped with the most deadly weapons of war. I should probably mention this, but the Panzer's supposed to be a driller apparently. He's supposed to like help do the excavation. Additionally to Black Ops 3 and Cold War having the, you know, zombies, there's also a mini boss on both games. The only problem being Cold War's Panzer being less threatening than the one in BO3. Cold War's kinda just runs at you and throws fire from time to time, but in Black Ops 3 it pulls you while cooking you alive. Even if you survive this, which you probably aren't, the zombies can gather around while you're being turned into steak and give you extra kisses. As I saw the Panzer appear, I pulled out my MP40 and started putting shots into its chest. As it drew closer, I popped my gobblegum in fear of getting downed, but the Panzer managed to get a few good hits in right before I teleported away, nearly downing me. Appearing in the trenches near spawn, I knew I had to get out of there as soon. Never mind, I had to dig up something and get a gobblegum too. While trying to get back to no man's land, I saw a horde of zombies rushing to my location with the Panzer in the back and rushed back inside. Trying to clear a way down, the Panzer got close enough to start torching me. With my health declining fast and out of options, I ran for my life to stay away. Probably a good time to mention, but I completely forgot I had no jug. So does that mean I'm better than the average player? However, a zombie at the bottom of the stairwell managed to smack me once and down me. Being on the ground defeated, I fired my Boomhilda into everything that was moving, which made me remember that I could just shoot the Panzer with this OP gun, and it worked, killing it fairly quickly. After its death, I noticed a nuke which I wanted, but I had to deal with the remaining horde that followed. Running out of ammo for the KRM, I switched to my MP40 and finished mowing down the remaining zombies. On my way out of the building, I saw a robot and tried to get its foot, but when it reached me, I had no glowing light, so I instantly ran down the building trying to get to safety. On my way back to no man's land, I found a piece of the fire staff where the Panzer had died. Suddenly, I heard the little girl's voice again, and this time when she spoke, she sounded hopeful.
Following copies. You can find them. You can get me out. You can open the gateway to Agartha.
Sounds like we got ourselves a plan.
While activating a generator, I almost got annihilated in one hit, so I bought Jug right after. Is it me or are these zombies a little too strong for round 8? I don't know what my obsession with the robot in spawn was, but I kept coming back to check if its yellow light was on the bottom of its boot. I'd finally got it though, so it's a good to be obsessed. Always be obsessed. Now I was curious what the inside of the giant machine would have in store for me. The inside of the robot housed 2 corpses, some steam pipes with gauges, some maps laid out on the tables, a light blue energy humming inside a glass tube, and weirdly enough the name Thor. I found it ironic how a giant weapon could be one of the safer places to be in, as I found no zombies appearing here. Yet the robot would prove my judgment wrong. Once inside, my vision recovered from the shift in the light. I saw the mentioned wind staff sitting down next to the radio, which was interactable, and I listened to it. It mentioned 115, a strange yet potent energy source that interacted with the rocks that had blue inscriptions and had the potential to drag objects from an unknown location. In addition, it mentioned that this element 115 helped create the giant robots and had the ability to disrupt the space-time continuum. If there were any of these 115 left, I had to get my hands on them as soon as possible. Immediately after the radio finished, sirens went off and I heard purge sequence initiated. Now I'm not trying to find out what any of that means, so I ejected myself out of some pods behind me, which had me free falling from the sky and splatting on the ground, but I managed to survive the fall somehow.
I'm still in one piece.
This is some of the coolest traveling mechanics I've seen in zombies so far. And no, Cold War didn't have you skydiving before you ask me. All it had was some portals launching you into the sky. Having survived that fall, I restocked on KRM and bought Quick Revive, so I could stay alive in case another Panzer spawned. There's more than one, by the way. On my way to No Man's Land, I spotted a zombie's corpse that had it spread out, and I decided to have a little fun. After defiling that zombie, I decided to venture to this excavation site. The previous mysterious rocks turned out to be some sort of man-made generator. Loose materials laid scattered about on the floor, and a fence with magnetized metals wrapped around a carefully constructed rock with engravings on it. In the middle of this captivating stone were those repeating blue stones on workbenches. Were these blue stones related to the little girl? Heading downstairs, I was met with smooth stone walls and bright lanterns illuminating this room. Skeletal remains marinated in random piles of dirt that were tucked away in several deviations of the smooth walling. Methodically placed equipment and supplies covered the floor. Unused speakers rested collecting dirt, and a small table with 2 radios on each side of the table sat in the middle of the room. The most unique of these items was a small gramophone on the floor, so I picked it up and placed it in the middle of the small desk. This action pleased the girl, and she mentioned that the doorways would open if they heard the songs. Now, as to who they were, I have yet to find out. But it seemed to me that this, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Trench Deca, I think that's how you say it. It's the gramophone, basically. Was something that I needed to take with me. As the girl was talking, the ground started to rumble, yet it felt different. Compared to the vibrations caused by the giants, it seemed as if the floor in the room was alive. Remember, there were still zombies. So I looped around, and it seemed as if I didn't imagine anything, because the floor in the middle had revealed a staircase going down. Going down revealed a more practical room with unsafe wooden walkways held up by dangling strings and small blue electrical machines. Even further down were several stones floating rings with square protrusions on each side. Each of these sides had its respective color, and some rings were coated in strange blue crystals. At the top of these floating rings was a giant blue crystalline circle shining light on the rings, almost as if it was sharing its power with them. At the bottom of these rings was the same blue jewel, and in front of the jewel, 4 glowing statues shining from the lamp's rays. It was like they were put up for display. The statues all held a sword in their hands, stabbing it down. Oddly enough, these statues had a pedestal at the bottom of their swords that was different in color for each statue. A very weak red, almost orange in appearance, a mild mustard yellow, a soft ocean blue, and a deep, stunning purple. I recovered my gramophone and left. Remember how I said there were dogfights going on in the sky? Now, so far I was close to making that legendary ice staff. However, finding the orange plane and shooting it down put me on the path to get the fire staff. Shooting that plane, a curious shiny orange ball fell from the already dark sky. Now, the fire staff might not be on the same level as the ice staff, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Heading to the direction of the ball, I found a fire staff piece. Now, I wonder why a pilot would have a wonder weapon piece in its plane. I actually don't know, I just wanted, never mind. Eventually, I got another robot and went into its feet, and I got my second wind staff part. The inside of this robot was pretty much the same, except this one was called Odin. This radio had the same guy from before speak, but this time he mentioned when he had woken up, he learned that during the night, the men at the excavation site, while installing generators, had seen ancient figures moving through the mounds of dirt. He expressed that he didn't really believe these stories, but he added that most of the men from the night were either missing or dead. Before I could gather my thoughts, I was interrupted by the purge sequence and escaped through the pods again and landed on my indestructible bones. While culling the zombie population, I had another close call. Even Dempsey was calling me out.
How'd I get myself into this mess?
While killing some zombies, one dropped a yellow ball. It flew into an oddly placed box in a robot's foot, happening again in another robot's footprint near the church. Activating the generator near the church almost got me killed and gave me another fire staff part somehow. At the start of round 10, one of the generators appeared on my HUD with a countdown. Basically, at random times, zombies will spawn in and destroy your generators, and you could ignore them, but they won't go away until they destroy all the generators that are active. This is something I recognize from Firebase Z, which is Cold War. The only difference in Firebase Z, a boss spawns in sometimes to contest a generator. Luckily in Origins, I don't have to deal with that, so I had to get rid of them. This would get old soon enough. For as long as I survived in this game, that is. The only good thing that happened was I got a max ammo after this. Additionally, I found another one of those yellow balls and glowing boxes in another robot's footprint. So many balls in Origins, huh? Finally, on round 11, I got the annoying snow round and got the remaining ice staff part. I noticed that near generator 6, there was a tunnel that almost looked like some sort of mine. Going in, I was greeted with an unmaintained wooden walls of boards, gray silky spider webs hung about and roots poked out in the corners. The wooden boards were held up by dirty wooden poles as dirt spilled from the ceiling. White clean candles illuminated the way, and they clashed with the heavy harsh brown shells of the floor lamps. Stone bricks replaced the heavily mined out areas, and at the end of the tunnel a sign greeted me. It read, "The Crazy Place." In the middle, a circle engraved in the dirt with smooth lining indented into it, and some unnatural stones rested next to the wall. The usual soldier equipment laid here, and it meant that these tunnels weren't new, at least to the previous owners. Similar to the excavation site, there was an empty table in the corner, with several speakers on each side of the walls, a generator probably for the lights, and blue glowing rocks. As I headed down the tunnel, the little girl spoke again. Basically, her father told her that the chambers were doorways opened by the songs of the ancients, and that I had to harness the power of the elements, that only with the elements she could reach her obsession, Agartha. While listening, I placed my gramophone on the table, and it played a weird tune which made the strange looking rocks float up with a light blue glow, and they started to build something. Once finished, a flash of light appeared in the middle of the construct. Already knowing what it was, I jumped in the portal. Blue energy rippled like water all around me, and bizarre hieroglyphics rushed past me at incredible speed. In the middle of all this insane energy, a lighter blue shined, and I reached for it. Yes, Cold War has travel mechanics like this, but I find it crazy that the night and day difference in attention to detail to the one Black Ops 3 has for the Crazy Place. With a flash of light, I appeared on top of a blue crystal, similar to the ones at the bottom of the excavation site. I had just entered the Crazy Place. The Crazy Place appears to be a giant otherworldly room, layered with an abundance of gravel-like pillars, marked by their unnatural hieroglyphics, and just like the giant rings in the excavation site, there is blue crystal-like substances stuck around the gravel. In the middle of this crazy room, 4 separate pillars rest on top of these oddly placed boxes, each having those same contrasting colors, blue, yellow, red, and purple. In the very heart of this room is some sort of platform. As I adjusted to the change of light, I ran up to the 4 pillars, yet the blue pillar was lifted from the box, and it allowed me to get an ice crystal. On my way back to where I appeared, I was able to make a portal by interacting with the blue jewel on the floor, and after some training, I hopped in. And again, honestly, I have no clue why I hopped in. My guess is hearing the zombies must have scared me. Finally getting back to the world that made sense, I grabbed my gramophone and headed to the excavation site to build my ice staff. Alright, ice staff done now. I didn't really know much about the other ones, so I had to look up some guides at this point. I'm gonna speed this up because my brain is starting to feel like jelly at this point. After building the ice staff, I opened the door opposite to the one of No Man's Land. This area is similar to the one next to spawn, the only difference being that it seems like it was more actively part of the war, as it has the same hanging corpses from No Man's Land and frequent different fires. I turned on generator 3 and broke some ankles getting the remaining shield part. After I grabbed speed cola because staff takes an entirety to reload, I learned the hard way why you shouldn't go into the mines at the start of a new round. Also, one of the best places to have the ancient zombies spawn from the piles of bones. After crafting the shield, unaware of the group of zombies behind me, I got slapped to death the moment I turned around.
Lucky.
Yes, I agree. After recovering from that unfair death, I went to open the remaining part of the map to get to generator 5 and turned it on. I didn't get jugged, by the way. Once all the generators were on, oh hey, I completed a challenge. This next part is what makes me think Origins is the best zombies map ever made. After getting my little achievements, all the robots started marching towards me. Now normally that's fine, but in this part of the map, it's the first place they will walk over. This created one of the most stressful yet cinematic moments of all time. You could probably throw some 115 over it and it would fit right in. After that close call, I started to check for the wind staff disc. Finally getting it next to stamina up, the little girl informed me that the disc was one of the ancient songs. It's a little too late to tell me that, if you ask me, because I already know. Eventually getting Jug, I don't know why I keep neglecting Jug, it's really good. Finding another mine, I went down and found another disc. This mine also had the table for the gramophones. So I placed it and headed back to the crazy place in an orange portal this time. Unlike the first trip to the crazy place, this time I appeared on a yellow crystal and the pillar of the yellow basket was raised this time. This got me the wind staff crystal. On my way back, the ceiling above the crystal had 4 yellow lines made up of 4 separate circles with strange patterns and a circle in the middle. Is it me or does this kind of remind you of the robot's foot? After returning back, I went back in through the mine next to the generator and this portal was purple. So which basket do you think was open this time? Up to this point, I hadn't noticed that each portal you enter had a different element flowing through the area you appear. So it was a nice touch to see the lightning pulsing when I got to the crazy place this time. The red crystal was on fire. Like I said, I just noticed it. Heading to the blue crystal, I noticed slabs floating and a unique blue slab similar to the ones on the ring in the excavation site. Again, there was a little storm of ice surrounding this area. Even the breath from your character was visible. Seeing stuff like this is what makes Black Ops 3 so good. The attention to the little details is what makes me like this version of zombies even more. Basically, these floating slabs are the start of the upgrade quest for the ice staff. Now, I don't understand what these symbols mean. Luckily for me, this game is almost 12 years old, and Mr. Raffle Waffles has decoded all the puzzles for me. After solving the puzzle with my insane IQ, the crazy place started shaking, and the little girl told me I was getting closer. Also, I don't know why she put so much emphasis on the second part. Also, looking at the lightning puzzle, how did people solve that? To me, it just looks like triangles on a wooden board with a wheel in the middle. Like how? Returning to No Man's Land, I remembered the other steps to upgrade the ice staff. Basically, there are 3 gravestones around the map, and you shoot them with the ice staff, encasing them in a layer of ice. After that, you destroy them with a weapon, apart from the ice staff. Except I had no ammo in my shotgun. Be right back. Once I got my ammo, I learned that a gravestone was in spawn, so I didn't waste my time. On the way to the excavation site, I found another odd zombie, and he was pale, even more than usual. Following the destruction of the gravestones, I received another call from the girl. Oh hey, Pack-a-Punch, my life expectancy just went up, and I saw a blue light that was coming from the bottom of the excavation site, which I followed. Here the rings have been empowered by the previous steps I did. Essentially, these rings are kind of like a Rubik's Cube. You gotta match each ring with the same color, and you move them with the blue generators. With my first hit, I moved the ring that was literally already on the blue one. Why can't you mantle that, man? Once I had all the rings done, I shot the blue ball with the ice staff at the bottom of the last ring, and the blue ball flew off. Failing to find the fire disc in 2 spots, I finally found it next to the tank. With the fire disc now in my possession, I could finally open the fire portal. When I got the fire crystal, I placed my ice staff in the blue basket to trade for the fire staff. I immediately tested it out because it was my first time getting it, and it was pretty good. Another Panzer appeared on round round 13, which at this point is pretty easy to deal with. After dunking on the Panzer, the zombies decided to attack my generator. You can move the tank. Okay, this is the best map I've ever played. Should probably mention, while moving the tank, there are certain areas you need to do a little parkour. Okay, maybe I was a little too fast to say that this is my favorite map. Knowing me, I missed a jump and the zombies killed me too. You know, I've never felt like such a loser doing boards now. No clue why I went back to the mines and tried to go to the crazy place with no perks. Look at that, almost died and I popped a gobble gum. Remember how I said I should stop using the shotgun for the robot's feet? Just watch. Yup, dead at round 14 for YYing my guns. Believe me, I've played so many games and kept getting hoed, so I'll quickly summarize it for you. Got a max ammo on round 1, nuke on round 2, round 4 snow round, later than last game. First ice staff part, robot in spawn with 6 bullets in my pistol and dumped them all into a zombie. Used the shotgun to try and hit the foot. Okay, now I should know that the shotgun doesn't work, right? Next game. Hey, Nikolai! My favorite character. Generator, gobble gum, double points, farm points, doors, blue disc, generator 2, shield part. Can we just talk about how much personality the Black Ops 3 zombie crew has? Listen to this line.
Step is beset by attacks from legions of unnatural creatures. Stumbling, rotten, filthy corpses.
Maybe because I had the audio of the voices on low for Cold War, but none of the zombie characters have such passion in their lines. Even in the cutscenes, the characters for the most part hardly speak. They got that Cloud dialogue. Rather have a Cloud dialogue than what we got for the Tomb Easter egg cutscene. Seriously, what the hell was that? Round 3 snow round is amazing. Staff part, door, no man's land, Dracon, shield part, purple disc, and my snow round stayed. A robot with no yellow spots, rocks, blue disc, generator 4, almost died, girl, plane, max ammo without reloading, Cold War habits, fire staff, more rocks, red disc, ice staff part, more girl, quick revive jug. Had a close call with the Panzer. Also, I've never seen a Panzer speed up like this. Honestly, it's kind of scary. Went down because I tried knifing on insta-kill, then I died. Next game. Just know that the process to progress in this map is similar. Now I'm Richthofen, the weirder one of the group. Wind staff part on round 1 with 1 bullet too, and I barely hit the robot's foot. While training a zombie, it trapped me and I almost died. This zombie would not go down and it killed me. In my defense, that thing had like God mode or something. Next game. If anyone knows what this means, please let me know, because I genuinely have no clue what Richthofen is saying here. I'm not proud of this death. I played a few games and after like a week of a break, I got this. Round 9 full fire staff, 2 parts of the wind staff, and 2 parts of the ice staff. Amazing jump by me. Amazing jumps by me. I got the remaining piece of the wind staff. Found this weird Magneto helmet. Is this part of the Easter egg? But I went down on the best game yet. Round 4 full wind staff parts and the ice staff in my hand. Let's see how I do on this one. Went down with quick for a max ammo. Honestly worth it. First time pack-a-punching a gun on this map. I had fully built 2 staffs and was on my way to creating the wind staff. With the wind staff built, I moved on to the most annoying one to make, the lightning staff. Now the reason this one pisses me off is it requires you to parkour, and I'm not very good at this. Also, in my opinion, which is like 1 game I've had it, the lightning staff is not very good compared to the other ones. In addition, this part where I'm at requires 2 jumps, and since I'm in solo, I gotta loop around again. See, I tried to catch up to it, but I failed. I don't know if you can actually get back on the tank. Let me know if you can actually. Thankfully, I had already placed the ice staff in the blue basket in the crazy place. So while I worked on the upgrade quest for the fire staff, I was also upgrading the ice staff. See, I got the upgraded ice staff. Should also mention killing zombies in this spot with the fire staff is to fill some buckets with energy, and this is one of the parts of the upgrade quest.
The power of the ice staff is
Thank you, little girl.
the ancients thought their riddles would never be solved.
Which leads to this, not now little girl, which is now a good time to talk about the fire staff upgrade. And after quickly looking at the guide, I figured out what I needed to do. Essentially, you have some dice symbols on the walls of the church that translate into numbers on the torches. I know one symbol will be the same for all of them, and you just shoot the torches on the walls to the corresponding numbers. If I live that long. Your shovel can turn gold apparently. Second lightning piece. I went down again. What happened to quick revive? Seeing as quick revive had dipped, I decided to use the Wonder Fist, and you won't believe what I got. That's right, Widow's Wine. This is an amazing perk. Please bring it back, Treyarch, I beg you. Switched my fire staff with the wind one to upgrade the wind staff. Yeah, I don't know what this means, so I'll just show you. I don't know, some British man told me how to do it. Yeah, I was super confused. Apparently there was something else I needed to do. This chimney looking thing has a smoke cloud coming off of it. And with the wind staff, you have to knock the smoke towards the excavation site. Look, I don't know the correlation between the ancients and the chimneys, but pretty cool for a puzzle so far. You can also get a golden helmet too.
You solved the riddle. Something's happening. I can feel it.
Same, that loud sound must have meant something. Beautiful jump by me, and there it is, the last lightning piece. Placing the wind staff in the basket, I swapped it for the ice staff, which was now called Yui Zero.
Close. You promised me. When the final steps are taken, the gateway to Agartha will open.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't got a good feeling about this. For the lightning puzzle, it's very precise. If you mess up once, I don't think you can actually do it. Or maybe I just didn't understand it. I know it looks like I just stand there and take it, but trust me, I was spamming that up on the D-pad. So guess what? Anywhere but here doesn't work in the crazy place. Is that one really my fault? How was I supposed to know that? Here's what I gather from the lore. Origins takes place in World War I. I mean, obviously, it's pretty obvious, right? Where two German scientists were trying to harness 115, which created the giant robots and the generators, as far as I know. They then started digging in the middle of war for some reason and found ancient relics. In the robot, we have some recordings from a guy that explains a little bit about 115's power. I'll call him 115 guy since I don't know his name. 115 guy tells us that during several mining operations, a handful of men digging were going missing or dying. He also says that the miners said that they saw some strange shadows moving around in the dirt. In the trailer, we see that the zombies appear from the dirt and quickly take over and kill the whole mining squad. Then a zombie outbreak broke out, which some allied forces sent soldiers to spy on them because they knew they had 115. One of the spies sent was Dempsey to investigate Origins. He uncovers that Origins has been infected by some unknown contamination, that everyone has turned into a zombie. He wants to set up an exclusion zone to get more data, and he also says that he uncovers the robots. Richtofen seems to be the only one that knows what's going on. He mentions a guy named Maxis that taught him something. Takio and Nikolai seem to just be finding out about the giant robots. They're also spies. Richtofen isn't. While playing the map, a random girl will start talking to you. Thanks to the intro, I now know her as Samantha. She has been trapped and wants you to open up the gateway so she can be free to go to Agartha. She gives you the instructions to build and upgrade the staffs. 115 guy was right about 115 being able to interact with the space-time continuum, because that's how you get to enter the crazy place. Honestly, this is probably one of the most extensive zombie maps I've ever played. Much more in depth compared to Cold War maps. I liked what Cold War had to offer. The mystery munitions were so much fun with friends, but if you really want an amazing immersion into zombies, you have to play Origins. There simply isn't anything like it in Cold War. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around, and sorry for all the rambling. It's just, I feel it's a disservice to this map to not explore everything. Honestly, I wish I grew up playing this game. But anyways, thanks for watching, and let me know if you guys enjoyed this map as much as me.